And you hear me, David Lee Scales.
Loud and clear.
Fantastic.
Chaz, welcome back to the grit. It is August 1st, officially, new month.
Do you like August?
Sure, why not?
Well, that's kind of rude.
I mean, I don't like it or dislike it. It's just another month to me.
Man, August is my birthday month.
Oh,
We're
that is rude. You're
here. We're
right.
we're here. Very rude.
Do you want to reveal the date of your birthday so that we can all celebrate?
Yep. I love the passive aggressive, like people who tell you their birthday in not so subtle ways, just so you will remember and celebrate them on that day. I am August 14, 1976.
All right. When anybody's trying to hack into steal Chaz's identity,
That's part of it. That's one of the big keys.
I have a couple of August birthdays in the family, so sure, I like August a lot. I love August.
A great month, an iconic month.
We've touched on it over the years about birthdays, kind of similar to what you just said. It is funny just to note the way that people
Bring it
behave
up.
around their own birthday, bring it up, casually mention it, or intentionally avoid it is also kind of interesting.
I feel at this point in my life, doing anything obvious or specific about your birthday is silly as an adult. So either full on being the bro who, just doesn't mention it purposefully, like lets it go entirely. That's annoying. Along with the person who, it's my birthday. Woohoo.
I agree. What about so like obviously posting on Instagram about your own birthday, definite nah.
Yep.
I mean, there's probably maybe women can get away with this more than men, but even
I think so.
still,
I think it's okay. Even then, though, like when I see the kind of cloying Instagram post celebrating oneself, like another
yeah.
36 trips around the sun style, it's like, didn't need to go there.
So the way that I interpret a hard post on the main feed about somebody advertising their own birthday, I kind of interpret it with a little bit of sympathy. Like
Oh, that they're
if they
pathetic
were
a little bit.
yeah, like if they were getting adulation in their life, they probably then wouldn't additionally be posting about it because I'll be perfectly honest, I have a lot of loving friends and family and my day is full. And
Yeah.
if especially around my birthday, it's like I actually hope my phone doesn't ring on my birthday because then I have to answer it and talk to people. Just send me a text and I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But when at the end of that day, if I then do a hard post on Instagram, and that's going to, of course, generate a certain amount of obligation to respond to comments and stuff like that, it's too much.
Yeah.
So those who do it, I'd really feel like it's kind of, I'm not, I don't, I'm not making fun of them or shaming them. It's just like, oof, somebody didn't get enough calls or texts on their birthday today.
Have you ever quietly hoped that Lauren will forget your birthday so then you can really 16 candles her?
No, no, definitely not.
16 candles is when was the last time you watched 16 candles?
When I was 8.
Kid went through a big John Hughes phase, or I guess more specifically a Molly Ringwald phase, where really into the Molly Ringwald 80s movies. And so I went for multiple laps around the Molly Ringwald film. So probably saw 16 candles, I'll say 4 times within the last 4 years. Uh the it's really an great snapshot. John Hughes movies obviously captured that time and Brat Pack and all of it. But the conceit of everyone continually forgetting her birthday, her family, the entire day, and at the end, everybody's like, oh, I guess you win some, you lose some. Where it's kind of a major one, right? Like forgetting your child's birthday is, in terms of a mark of a bad parent, uh, forgetting your kid's birthday would be well up there on like, okay, parents have a major drug problem, right?
I think there's probably a certain number of kids too. Like if you had 8 kids, it might be a little difficult to remember all.
Yeah, but they had two, if I
Yeah,
recall. Oh
yeah,
no, they had
yeah.
three. They had the annoying boy too. So there was three
The
kids.
annoying boy.
Yeah, there was three kids, daughter getting married, and then annoying boy running around. And she was that whole movie. Molly Ringwald is perpetually grousy about her family, but she never ever says, "Hey guys, today's my birthday." Like she could have come down, and I get it. Which brings me back to Lauren, I guess. She had the power over them that entire film just because they were forgetting her birthday actively.
Right.
Imagine you wake up on your birthday, Lauren forgets it. The amount of internal rage you could have towards her that would feel totally justified.
I yeah, I don't know. Maybe I would care. I would probably assign it to like it was a busy day, and I know that there's a lot of I don't know. I don't think I'd care that much, but on a
You,
much
I
smaller
think you would.
scale.
I think if you were
Well,
fully forgotten,
so here's a much smaller scale. Yesterday I got my hair cut. She didn't mention it for half the day. And then at night, a buddy was like, "Hey, you got your hair cut?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Yeah, me too." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." And she goes, "Yeah, I noticed it. And I was gonna say I like it shorter." And I
yeah.
looked at her and I was like, "You didn't say
Did
anything
you
for
know?
6 hours." But I also, again, didn't actually care. What I did notice that she didn't say anything, but it wasn't as if I had like a pit in my stomach or like a hole in my heart or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah. I think the
I don't
I
know.
think the birthday might be a little hole in the heart though, of like
I
something's
guess.
something's wrong here, right?
I
If
guess so.
this that means like she's pretty checked out at that
That's what
point.
it is. So I
Yeah.
think the reality is yesterday I'm confident in the status of our relationship, so it didn't matter. But
Yes.
if she missed a birthday, that would actually be an indicator that the status is not copacetic.
Yeah. That would
Okay,
mean
that's it.
there's something rotten in the state.
Okay, well, August 14th, it's cemented in our minds now.
Great, everyone.
Do you
Please.
want to request anything? Coffee
Uh
grinder?
uh I think I'm pretty good
Okay.
on I got a coffee grinder at home, and so I still have not. It's like one of those things here. I have those bags of Sivant's coffee, Yemeni roast, sitting and staring at me. And at this point, I'm like, you know what? This is going to be an early birthday for me when I get back home. I'm gonna
Okay.
bust open those bags, grind up some Yemen. But speaking of Yemen, I went to a Yemeni restaurant last night. It's epic.
What would you order? Or what? Give me one dish. I don't even know what it is.
Oh, Yemeni food is like a lot of like plate of rice with a hunk of roasted lamb or chicken on top.
Can you compare the flavors to something that I'd be familiar with?
It's Middle Eastern
Okay.
esque. So
Yeah.
like cardamom, whatever the cardamom family of flavors.
Okay. Got it.
Yep.
Um, Back to Molly Ringwald real quickly. I was thinking not a classic beauty, but
Nope.
was the dominant force in that kind of era of like for female actors. And so, or actresses, I should say. And then I was like, well, why don't we have that in our modern day? It's always just like beauty leads kind of a thing.
Yeah,
Except Emma Stone is our current Molly Ringwald.
sure is. Emma Stone is in epic films, has range, right? I
Yeah.
think she has range that I feel Molly Ringwald didn't have range.
So
Molly Ringwald had 80s movie range.
they started in the same place. Emma Stone started in films like that. There was a film called Easy A, and it was that
Yep.
same thing. And then she has, thankfully, Molly Ringwald probably had the range. She just got typecast.
Yep.
And then, thankfully for Emma Stone, she was able to work beyond that typecast and is in amazing, amazing films.
I still get Emma Stone though regularly confused with who's the actress in The Notebook?
Oh, Rachel
Rachel McAdams.
McAdams. Yeah.
Yeah, Emma and Rachel McAdams are for some reason the same in
Hmm.
my mind, even though they are very different and do very different roles and act very differently. And I have no idea why. Because Emma Stone is clearly, I think, the better actress of the two, right? Or has done more important film.
I would say so.
You
Yeah.
know,
Emma Stone was a better actress, I would say.
the actress that I will go see a movie for.
Michelle Williams.
No, I never liked Michelle Williams, to be
I
quite
love
frank. I do
Michelle
now,
Williams.
but I didn't at the time. I was really burned by Michelle Williams thanks to Dawson's Creek. I hated
I never
Dawson's
watched. Yeah, I
Creek
never watched
so
it.
much. Like I hate watched Dawson's Creek. I hated it so much. And then yeah, so it took Michelle Williams a while for me to forgive her for that. But no, Elle Fanning is one I will go see a film for.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I can't even think of what she's been in.
Elle Fanning, I mean, she's been in great films. One of the and/or TV shows. She was what was the Russian one along with About a Boy? That was such a good show. HBO series. She was. Not
The
Marie
Russian
Antoinette.
one?
Was she Marie Antoinette in there? I can't
Oh, you're
remember.
thinking that Hulu show, that period piece
Yes,
that was
that
a
one.
comedy?
I loved that
Yeah,
so
you
much
did.
with about a boy as
Yeah,
the
Nicholas
Tsar,
Holt.
Nicholas Holt as Tsar. She might have been Marie Antoinette in that
I,
program. I can't.
yeah, I forget what that program is called. All right, well, let's move on.
Yeah,
Let's get
yeah,
back into surfing.
good. Let's do it.
Let's
That's
do
what the
it.
people
And
want.
oh, so we have a theme for today's show, and it just comes together organically sometimes where emails and listener calls all kind of align and coalesce into a theme. And the theme for this week is, quote, navigating the world of vulnerable adult learners.
There's a lot out there, a growing segment of our population.
It really is. And so it used to be 5 years ago, you guys or you on Beach Grit were talking about VALs, vulnerable adult learners, and they were just, one-off stories that we were encountering. Well, we're now in a place where the population, they become a majority. And so you and I need to know how to navigate the world of. And so go ahead.
I mean, do you remember the great shirt? I think I still have it at home, the Valpocalypse shirt.
I've,
Or
I've,
Valpocalypse now.
I've got it.
Yeah.
Valpocalypse now. Listeners sent in the design. I think we have them for sale, actually. If you want to go to our website, they're cutoffs. And the neck's a bit tight on me on that one. Do you
The
ever
neck's a
wear
bit
it?
tight. See, yeah, that's the thing. Like it's with because when you have the cut sleeve, you want a loose neck. It doesn't have to necessarily be tank top, but it has to be a looser neck to go on with the cut sleeve. You can't have the tight neck and the cut sleeve.
I think I'm going to trim the neck. If I could just cut a slice into the neck on either side, I think that'll do the job.
You will be exactly like a modern tween girl.
There you go. Perfect. Exactly what I always wanted to be.
Yep.
So, oh, before we get into the Val, I have a really important Val female listener asking for dating advice about dating a
Great.
kook. And I'm
Great.
excited to discuss it, but we got some backside surfing feedback from last week. So let's put this backside surfing debate to rest, and then we'll get into the Val stuff.
Great. I'm excited to be right.
Okay, good.
Finally.
This comes from a listener, and he says, DLS and Chaz, love the work you guys do. You've kept me company through many a bullet train ride, mundane drive to work, and sake soak. I wonder, does he actually soak in sake, or is he talking about drinking it and
I'll be
soaking from
drinking,
the inside?
but the people who live in Japan, I always just think, what are you talking about, dude? Your bullet train rides, you've carried me through multiple omakase meals with next level sushi chefs and riding the fanciest trains on earth and drinking fine sake. My life without you guys would be hell.
We're glad to be here for you. Slumming it with us while you're in Japan. He said, I had to jump in after your latest backside surfing debate because, as a goofy footer, I'm here to set the record straight. And yes, Chaz, this one's coming for you. Connor's surfing was insanely good through the season, and J-Bay, it was undeniable. I was psyched that he won, but I will get back to the purpose of this email. In the words of Chaz, quote, I'm no psychologist, but let's not dance around it. Chaz, you are a closet butt enthusiast, a connoisseur of the derriere, a gluteus maximus lover masquerading as a critic. Allow me to present my case. One, he says one, exhibit A, and goes on to two, exhibit B, probably intentionally. So, one, exhibit A. In your entire technical breakdown of backside surfing, every single reference somehow looped back to butts. It was less surf commentary, more butt monologue. You might as well have been doing color commentary on a Brazilian beach volleyball tournament. Two, Exhibit B. I did a little research, went deeper into Alana Blanchard's Instagram. Purely academic purposes, I assure you. I scrolled through a dozen posts, not a backside surfing photo in sight, and yet her best-selling ass quote set is featured in high def. This, dear Chaz, proves that frontside is the true butt showcase. Three, Exhibit
Oh,
C, Enter Coca Ho's Instagram. Same deal, backside turns, rare unicorns, frontside bottom turns, in full primetime TV glute content. Frontside surfing is the ultimate all cheeks all the time. And four, final argument. To quote the man himself, Chaz, let's be quite frank here. When you're watching from the beach, spectator's view, frontside surfing is primetime booty broadcast. Backside, you rarely see a butt frontal unless they're doing a huge roundhouse cutback. But if you're in for the buns, if you're in it for the buns, then it's frontside surfing, my man. But here are the brass tacks, Chaz. Backside surfing is and always will be rad. In my 50 years of surfing, I've met a legion of surfers who are forehand heroes but backhand zeros. Even on tour, there are pros who couldn't hit a proper backside reentry if their Instagram following depended on it, proving backside takes more skill. I say this with love, Chaz. With a little self reflection and maybe a 12-step program, you'll come to accept two universal truths. One, you love butts. Number two, backside surfing is rad. David, keep fighting the good fight. Chaz, we'll save you from your sins. First step is admitting you love butts. Much love from Japan. Scott in Mikawa, Japan. P.S. question. Is it acceptable to reciprocate shaka from a core lord with a, I'm sorry, if it is acceptable to reciprocate a shaka from a core lord with a loose salute, can a shaka from a full-on kook be reciprocated with a Benny Hill salute? Keep Shigota.
Thank you so much, Scott. Epic. You're exactly right. You've Frontside surfing is booty surfing.
There you
I
go.
I never knew. I did not
Yep.
know until right now that I've been living in a cramped closet, just howling away at nothing. I guess it's time for me to come out into the light and say, I like butts, and I
And I
cannot
cannot lie.
lie.
I couldn't agree with you more, but let's just go ahead and solidify it with one world champions call in.
For the grit, going team David Lee Scales. Backside surfing, just like the thing that's been embedded in your head of the female body is the butt. Same thing goes with surfing. The backside bottom turn, take the drop, hand down, back leg engaged, and driving that hand through the slot, coming around the section. Best feeling in the world, absolutely. And the no hand barrel, backside, best feeling in the world. Better than airs, better than anything. And our Roman historian, Aki, will go down. You'll never do that again. There'll never be a surfer that does what he does. So I just wanted to save you guys that you probably just delete that last podcast, and then it won't be written in history forever. So Team DLS, and wow, you rarely miss it, but I think you missed this one. All right, write me off. Do work. The good work, not that work you just did.
CJ Hobgood loves backside surfing.
It hurts. I gotta say. I mean, as we've said on the show before, and as still proven to be true, the Hobgoods do no wrong. Anything the Hobgoods, either Damien or CJ say, is right. Anything they do is right. And so I'm gonna have to go into a period of deep reflection.
Good. I'm glad. I
You're right.
Can you
So
see my Monopoly board back here, by the way?
I did. Is that Aki on the board or is it CJ?
It's one of the Hobgoods. It's CJ or Damien.
You can't tell?
CJ call back. No, I can't tell. This was like in their prime when they were both had the same sponsors and they looked. I mean, they are identical twins, but at that time they
Zoom
were.
in. I can tell you right now who it is.
Let
But
me
after
grab it and
grab it and pull it over.
okay.
After we discuss Aki, it's true. This backside kind of turn, bottom turn, is great. And then the other one is wait, we're gonna have to take the picture down first because I'm only seeing it mini.
Oh, sorry. Take Aki's photo. I posted Aki's photo if you're watching on, or if you want to watch on
YouTube. Come on over to
YouTube.
YouTube. That is Damien.
Okay. I need verification on this from
That
those
is
guys.
100% Damien Hobgood.
Okay. 100%, huh?
100% Damo Hobgood.
Okay. Okay, we'll see.
Does it say? It's got to.
I've checked in the past and no, it did not say last time I checked, so I'm checking again, but no, I don't think it does say. I don't even think the fine people at Monopoly knew the difference at the time.
They probably didn't.
Anyways, I found this in my pile of things, and thought I would put it up just for that call.
The that Aki bottom turn is true, and a not like a fully dug buried rail backside bottom turn around the section is a beautiful moment in surfing. And then I also think, though, I mean, where Siege really hit me is once he said backside, no hands barrel. And of course, the only picture in my mind is Andy Irons, just hands behind back, standing straight and tall. Hard to deny that that's not like one of the most beautiful poses in surfing.
I know. I that is undeniable. And even on I can't remember which film it was. Now it was a lost film and it was a section with Chris Ward in Tahiti and it wasn't a big wave. Wasn't like that, like standing tall, hands free. It was a smaller wave that he had to, that anybody else would have been grabbing rail pig dog style because you're hunched over and contorting. But he was navigating these barrels backhand with no grab, like pumping through the barrel backside, hunched over. He would grab occasionally, but then he'd let go and like pump in it. And I was like, it was the most masterful kind of it was just amazing. You know, you'd study it and you're like, I would never be able to pull that off. And it's not like he does yoga on the weekends, you
Yeah,
know, it's just
no,
innate
he does
ability.
cocaine on the weekends. The I think though, in my own defense, my real beef was the backside hack. Like that's what they were doing at J-Bay. That's what Connor O'Leary was doing at J-Bay. It was bam, 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 backside hacks. That was my original beef. Is that I don't like watching that kind of surfing.
I'm gonna well,
I don't like multiple backside hacks linked together. And where that's where to me variety disappears because even if you're pointing again, we talked about it last week, even if you're pointing your board at 60 degrees on the first one and 90 degrees at the second one and 120 on the third one, it's all the same.
okay.
Whereas a front side at 60 degrees, you're setting up for something different, right? At vertical, you're doing something different. And overcooked, you're doing something different.
All right. Well, this is an adjacent thought, I guess, but it comes from a longtime listener and he says DL/C. From what I saw at J-Bay, I was totally bored by the repetitiveness and an uneventful yet celebrated backside hackery. There you go. That validates your point. The
Yeah.
ongoing conversation about the redundancy problem got me thinking that I would really like to see chop hops in heats. I'm afraid we've come to a point where chop hops are what the WSL needs. WSL in crappy surf might be better if some funny tricks complemented the predictable snap/cutback routine. What if a guy stuck a Johnny Boy Gomes El Rolo in a heat? And bring back the carving 360 too. Side note, years ago, you and Chaz gave chop hops the no barrel. I did not forget this one. Each time I chop up, I feel a certain Jewish guilt that I'm disappointing you guys. Now that I think about it, pretty much every life decision I make is informed by over 10 years of barrel or Nas. It's like I'm in a cult or something. Just like Seinfeld, you've transcended the podcast and become a full-blown religion. Back to WSL real quick. I've been mostly tuned out since Elo left. Once I inevitably get eliminated from Survival League each year, I lose all interest. The grit covering the Elo saga was pretty much the only thing keeping me invested. WSL seems to be even more even keel these days, and I'm bored of it. Debacle and Scandal were so much yummier. Always yours, Jay Martinez.
Thank you so much, Jay Martinez. Thanks for the years of listening. Love you very much. And uh continuing on the theme of chop hops, I 100,000% agree. I look, we grow, we change. I was wrong. I will admit it then. Anytime I see a chop hop in a WSL event and the commenters laugh at the end, like, oh, and of course it doesn't score. I'm thinking, why doesn't that score? That's kind of a sick little thing. That's kind of, and it's the degree of difficulty is somewhat there, right? It's way easier just to ride out. Like you throw a chop hop in, scores zero, never, and gets giggled about in the booth. And I'm like, I always think that's kind of sick. Why isn't that getting scored? And I totally agree with too. If they would start scoring these things, then you bring variety back in surfing. They forgot. I think speed, power, flow, and then I feel they added variety at some point into the criteria. I think it's in there now.
Okay.
But what they mean by variety is like one of five things. It is
Yeah.
a uh like different cooking on the turn. It is an air, I suppose, barrel, whatever, but that's it. There's no, I fully agree, Jay Martinez. Throw, like, if somebody's going to actually make it look different, they should, like, somebody's going to go switch, for example. Like, I think Connor O'Leary, yes, Connor O'Leary on his victory lap at J Bay jumped and went switch. Remember that?
Yeah.
And that's like giggle, giggle, laugh, laugh. Look at the goofy
Yeah.
guy, where or he's enjoying being a goofball now that he's won, and this is what he's doing. And I was thinking, what if that got scored? What if you jump switch and that got scored? And it doesn't have to be a huge score, but it's like a point. All of a sudden now, surfing would look different if you gave them more tools in the bag. Then people will differentiate themselves more, which is what it needs. It has become redundant and repetitive in a way that only real aficionados understand. But in order to be broadly appealing, I think you have to have some gimmick in there in order for not crazy serious surf fans can look at something and say, "Oh, that looks different than this other thing."
I understand the point you guys are making. But I think in order for it to exist, for what you're saying to have any real relevance, the chop up would have to be done in a very critical section of the wave.
Sure.
So if somebody drops in next week at Chopu, makes it to the bottom, chop hops at the bottom before they pull into the tube,
Yes.
now we're talking 11-point ride.
That's what I'm talking about, right? Exactly there. Like, I'm not talking about a throwaway, and I'm even talking about a throwaway chop hop at the end. Like, score that slightly above,
But the degree
or a
of
shove it, right? What if, like,
no, the degree of difficulty there, if you're kicking out of a wave and you're on the flats after you got all the energy juiced from the wave, and then you just do a kick chop hop to kick out, degree of difficulty is 0.02.
I'd say make that a 0.05, and then throw in there, if you do a shove it at the end, make that a 0.07, right? Where all of a sudden it's not just the standard lip bash to ride out to kind of fist pump. Like, throw me some variety.
That argument is fine by me. If two waves are surfed identically by two separate surfers, which I know is impossible, but let's just go with it, and one kicks out in a straight line and the other one does a chop hop to kick out, yeah, that surfer should win.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
what I'm talking. But they don't score it. It is flat out not scored.
correct.
It's
That is
giggled
correct.
about.
Right. But I think my argument against Jay Martinez's point is it is a disruption of the speed power flow element. So let's say J Bay, um, throw out, forget what I said about Chopu, but let's say J Bay. You drop in and you bottom turn or before the bottom turn, chop hop, and then go into your sequence of maneuvers. That chop hop actually takes away from the speed, power, and flow. It disrupts the energy and will allow you to not go as fast as if you were to just stay engaged the whole time.
Except for the fact that these athletes learn and change. And I feel that one of them will be able to incorporate a, let's call it functional chop hop that allows them some kind of different line that is unique. I'm saying that this professional surfing, said it once, say it again. Uh, it's not like the good Lord above wrote down the rules of professional surfing on a stone tablet and handed it to Robert Bartholomew those many years ago. Surfing needs to continue to evolve in order to be interesting. And to Jay Martinez's point, at this point in time, they finally have what appears to be competent people running it. Next year's tour is a lot closer to the tour that people want, right? That the core surf fan wants, starting in bells, ending with pipe. Of course, there's wrinkles in there that are unfortunate, like El Salvador and Abu Dhabi. But by and large, it's better. The format continually is getting better, right? I think the mid-year cut, good idea, right?
Yeah.
Final five, whatever, however they changed it. What is it now? Leading into pipe, it's no longer a straight final five. It's a
So the field gets reduced a couple of events prior to pipe. It's not a mid-year cut anymore, but it's a reduction in numbers that then those people come back at pipe and they get to compete. So they missed two events, I think. So it narrows the field even more. And then at pipe, everybody comes back and the points are 1.5.
Which is again interesting. Fine, right? Except A, they need to now score more thing. They need to make more or encourage more variety in the
You can
actual surfing.
so you can only encourage it by incentivizing it, and so
Yes.
incentivize the chop hop and push that progress.
Yes, because without Elo and Jay Martinez, once again, exactly right. The World Surf League was more fun for you and I to talk about when it was a junk show, right?
Yes.
Now that it's not a junk show, you say it every week, the segment that gets shorter and shorter, the surfing
Yeah.
segment, because
Yeah.
it's not as interesting to talk about because the product on the field, as it were, the product in the ocean, it's not like NBA or Major League Baseball, or it's not a good enough product yet as in terms of a sport for that to be enough. You need junk show, but you might be able to get the product, the sport itself, up there if you reward more variety. If there's more that we can talk about, debate about, discuss, if there's, oh man, whoever, Jadson Andre did the sickest chop hop to flicky tail thing, and Kolohe Andino did a straight lip bash to something. Now we could debate which one of these is better. They're not giving us that.
The current version, or the most kind of extreme polarity that we have on the tour right now, is Italo style versus Ethan Ewing style,
Yes.
and their opposite stance too. So if they go in a heat together, that's kind of as disparate as you could get.
And sort of the most interesting. That's a heat that I think, okay, now we can fight it out in terms of, because neither of these on the face is better or worse than the other, which makes for debate, right? Where if we're watching basketball, say, and whose game is better? Is Luka Doncic's game better, or Shea Gilgeous's game better? And both score a lot of points, but you can be an aficionado of one of their style of plays, and that makes NBA fun.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll leave it there and we'll go to Veyer watches tools to live by.
We're going to help somebody today. We're going
We
to
are
help somebody
definitely
today.
we are going to help somebody find love in their life. This is my Veyer right here. I forget which one this is, the R1 Racing chronograph.
Such a fine looking watch.
And yeah, I wear this thing daily. It's so comfortable. I wear it in the ocean. I swim in it.
The the
Thing's
people who
beautiful.
say, the horrible men, the empty men who say, well, you need to watch, get your phone. No, be an adult man. Children have Game Boys and whatnot. I guess they don't have Game Boys anymore, but devices are for kids. Get that damn Apple Watch off your wrist too. You can put your Apple Watch on if there's a purpose for it, right? If, say, you're going for a jog and want to count your steps or whatnot, fine. Use your Apple Watch for that, for a specific purpose. Your Apple Watch is not a watch. You're not a real man unless you have a real watch. Brought to you by Veyer.
VeyerWatches.com/surf splendor. Save 15% off your
Let's
watch purchase.
let's see if we can get Veyer in as much trouble as American Eagle Jeans is in right now.
I mean, save it for Noble Rot. I have thoughts on that.
Okay.
I mean, I was so confused when I saw the brouhaha. And then I was like, well, there must be some meat on this bone. So I went ahead and I read the articles. I watched a video or two of people complaining, left with more confusion than I entered with.
So just to tease Noble Rod, I suppose, this coming week we will get into this, but I was like, I didn't dig that deep. I just saw the brouhaha and whatnot. And I said it offhandedly to the wife. I was like, I literally don't get this. And she said, what don't you get about it? Was like,
So she's brouhaha'd?
she's was apparently slightly brouhaha'd. And I said, I mean, I understand, but it's not like American Eagle was saying Sydney Sweeney as a white woman, blonde woman, is better than other people, right? I'm saying
No.
she objectively has good genes. Both, I mean, I guess if you think American Eagle are good genes, then that's fine too. But
But that
also, she is a specimen, and I gave the wife the, I guess maybe they could have done a more diverse, whoever, Sal's ex-girlfriend, Lupita Nyong'o has good genes, right? It probably would have served American Eagle and been a better campaign if they would have just picked beautiful people across a more diverse spectrum. But like objectively, Sydney Sweeney has good genes, but we can save it.
Save it. I want to talk about it so desperately right now, but we'll save it. Go to Noble Rot on Monday if
Yeah,
you
that'll
want
be a good one,
non-surf
a banger.
content.
Yeah, we should. Vayers, you're not a real man unless you have a real watch. Should be Vayers, and that would, I think, get them just as much in hot water. What are you saying a real man is? Are you saying a biological man?
Well, good news. These watches can handle hot water and they're
Yep.
waterproof guaranteed. So there you go.
Perfect.
Save 15%. Um, Email came through and said, "Can I date a kook? I need life advice!" Exclamation point. Hello, David and Chaz. Over the years, I've been a listener, indeed, since before The Grit even existed as its standalone podcast. There have been a number of conversations about what to do with wives, girlfriends, vis-a-vis surfing. So I'd like to ask a question from the other side. Goes without stating, this is a female listener writing this. She goes on to say, "It's been several years since I went through a breakup. Since then, I've kept surfing and my dating life completely separate. The ocean is my sanctuary, and I've always wanted to keep it that way. I'm out there to get waves, be taken seriously, not be hit on, yada, yada. Um, but lately, I've come to the realization that ultimately, I would like to be with a partner who also surfs. As a female, you'll be hard pressed to find a man who would be content to sit on the beach and cheer for you all day. Plus, this is an important part of my daily life. I can't imagine being with someone who doesn't share this passion. By no means do I shred, but I've earned my place in the lineup by being super competent. I never get in the way. I always control my board. I'm frequently the only girl out during the bigger swells, and on occasion, I ride a wave with enough skill to earn a respectful head nod from the guys. So I'm now open minded and actively open to finding a surfer to date. But here's the rub: it seems as though every guy that asks me out is some kind of VAL version. There's a middle aged guy who rides a longboard with a leash, my absolute least favorite type of person in the lineup. I see him paddling straight for the peak, mowing over all the shortboarders uh, down wave after wave, and thinking he's a surf god because of it. Then there's the good looking, successful entrepreneur who sold his tech company and surfs and kite surfs. On his Instagram, he'll post a pic of himself in a beautiful Mentawai barrel. The problem, he has a poo stance wearing reef booties. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't unsee it. Sigh. What would I do if I what would I do if I dated a guy like this? I certainly could not paddle out with him at my local, whereas the guys who show up with some girl on a foamy who they're quote teaching, and as long as she's cute enough, they more or less get a pass. If I showed up with somebody like that, they'd clown me endlessly. I'd never hear the end of it. We'd have to surf the shoulders, or better yet, a distant peak all the way down the beach, never to be seen. I'd be giving up that place in a lineup that I've literally spent years and years working my way to get. On the other hand, maybe none of this matters. Find a guy that's smart and kind and a good partner who wants to take surf trips and who cares if I surf better than he does. I'm not getting any younger and I'm staring down the barrel of a mid length, anyways. So, might as well just cave in and accelerate the process. What say you, David and Chaz? Can I date a kook? Work, Nicole.
Nicole, guess who has advice for you? This guy. Uh, Many years ago, I have a little story for you, Nicole. Many years ago, I met a woman at a surf premiere, Julian Wilson's Scratching the Surface. I had not heard of her before. She was a agent, I came to find out, and an ex-professional snowboarder. I hadn't snowboarded in years at this point. Uh, and so anyway, things moved very quickly. I joined her, I think, weeks later in Italy, uh, on a glacier. And I thought I hadn't snowboarded in a long time. She's a ex-pro snowboarder. I'm gonna go for the skis. I skied more as a kid than I had snowboarded. I had snowboarded more later, or like second half of life, but I hadn't done that in a while too. I cooked it so bad on my skis. It was embarrassing and awful. Like she should have broken up with me then. She did not. Self-aware. I was self-aware. I said, okay, I'm getting back on the board. I cooked it like I never snowboarded powder. The first time we ever snowboarded powder together, I was just tomahawking down the hill. Like I had so many of these, but the combo of self-awareness, and I suppose that I'm praising myself here, Nicole, and holding myself up as a model of what you need to look at in a dude, but self-awareness and a desire to improve. You're never like saying, I'm good enough. This is okay. You never say that. You say, I need to get better. Now I'm a fully competent snowboarder. I can keep up, don't embarrass her. I go out with, like whatever on uh doing the going out with a magazine, the snowboard magazine crew. And I'm not obviously turning heads, but I'm fully competent, not fully competent, but I can keep up. I don't slow anybody down, decent enough style, blah 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 blah. That's what you need. You need some. It can be a full-on kook as long as he's self-aware that he is a kook and that he has a desire not to be a kook, and will both look to you but not put any of that on you. That he will do self-learning. He will go out by himself. He will not ever drag you down. Right? If it's pumping and he doesn't belong in on a certain day, that he will paddle down the beach somewhere and be, I'm going to go get mine down here. Right? He will let you do you. But he will continue to grow, hopefully to the point where 5, 10, been with the wife now 15 years, and we're all good together now. But it took probably a good 10 years for me to raise my level in snowboard. And I think that you can do that as long as you're A, self-aware, B, not throwing yourself into where you don't belong because you're arrogant. 3, exhibit C, knowing that you need to learn, and 4, exhibit D, that you will get there. So that's it.
I think that is exactly Nicole's problem, is finding that guy is almost impossible.
But so the problem is though not a kook problem. The problem is a self-aware problem. Is the
Yeah.
kook has a
There's
lack of
no Nobody's
self-awareness.
self-aware. That's such a
That's
hard thing to find.
so that's what you're actually looking for, Nicole, is a man who's self-aware. You could make anyone. Let's just be quite frank. Let's be honest and frank. Surfing is a difficult thing to learn, and more difficult the older you are. Surfing is not impossible. There is a lot of more difficult things out there than learning how to surf. If you are self-aware, if you are not an Eric Elo Logan, then you can quietly improve, quietly get better, and you can become remotely competent. You don't need to be backside, no hand barrel, a la Chris Ward, but you can be competent, right? It all ties back though to self-awareness. You need to be self-aware in order to go on that journey.
Self-awareness comes in limited supply these days.
That's the thing though, is
So
that's what Nicole needs to be looking for, is a man who's self-aware. A man, like, don't even look in the water. Don't even look for a guy who's surfing at all. Look on land for a dude who's self-aware. Teach him how to surf. You teach the man who's self-aware to surf, he surfs for life. You give a man who's not self-aware a surfboard, he surfs for a day.
I love Nicole just through the way that she wrote this email. There's a lot of things I like about Nicole. Um, her even saying, I'm competent, and then giving examples. I stay out of the way. I
Yes.
control my board. It's like, thank you, because we, over the years, try to define kookiness, and it's just those things. It's
It's
just like,
competence.
don't get in the way of other people, know how to duck dive, don't create havoc in the lineup. And then once you get your wave, if you do kook it out, like it almost doesn't matter at that
It
point.
doesn't.
Nobody's even shaming you in the lineup at that point because you're at least not getting in the way of other people. Kookiness
Precisely.
only has to do with getting in the way of other people,
Getting in
basically.
the way of the other people, and or posting photos that you think are cool on Instagram when you're poos dancing a barrel with
Yeah.
reef booties.
So now I do understand her misgiving there of like, this guy seems great, but then look at how horrible his style is.
But
And
that's
not
what I'm
being
saying.
able,
the only way Nicole's going to see his style is if he's posting photos of his style. Nicole's not paddling out in real time, examining what's happening. She might
No,
think that's a little unsightly. It's him posting a picture of it. That's where it burns into the synapses.
that is enough of a red flag to go the other way. I'm with her on that assessment of like, A, he's posting photos of himself online and of surfing, and then B, it's an atrocious photo. Like he doesn't
Yeah.
even have enough self-awareness
To
to
know that
know
it's ugly.
that he's wearing reef booties, first of all, and then it's ugly.
Yeah.
And so I agree with that. It's like somebody's, I mean, let's get real. You're going to be looking at this person for the rest of your life every single day. And so you want to be able to look at them with a certain level, with attraction. And so if they have bad style, whatever, a lack of attraction for any reason, it's gonna go stale pretty quickly. So I'm glad that she was able to assess that quickly and realize that is a red flag for her. Um, what I would say, my advice, I mean, take Chaz's advice, and then my additional advice is I think that you don't need to find somebody who surfs. I think you're limiting obviously the dating pool by needing them to be compatible in all the ways you need them to be compatible on land, and then also be a competent surfer or a self-aware surfer in the lineup. Go ahead. What?
I mean, I disagree on unless you're, I disagree. Like, there's no way the wife and I would have worked if I couldn't snowboard.
Your wife is a professional snowboarder. It's a totally different scenario. Nicole isn't a professional surfer. This is her main recreational passion, which I totally relate to because it's mine as well. But what I'm saying is it is your sanctuary. That you wanting him to be a surfer only matters during the honeymoon phase of your relationship. When you're first dating, yeah, you want to do these things together. Let
That's
me
true.
tell you what, after year two, all the way to year 50, if you make it that far, you're going to be so thankful that he doesn't surf because you want that sanctuary away from him. It like the most important thing for having long-term success, which I've never had, by the way, so I'm only saying this anecdotally or theoretically, is that you're both individuals who have your own things. And then you come together and you can share those things with one another and grow from one another and learn from one another. So you having surfing is phenomenal. Like, do that, continue to invest in it. He should have something of his own. And I would say that would be actually what you should be looking for in your dating partner is not that his thing is the same of yours, but that he actually has something. If he has nothing and he just goes to work and then he comes home and lounges on the couch, that's a problem. But if he comes home and he's really into coding or reading or, you know, hiking seems generic to me, but just whatever it happens to be, like fishing, some golf, something great. Let him be passionate about that. And then you guys come back from your 4 hours of recreation. He's thrilled to tell you all about that and show you the nuance of it. And you're thrilled to tell him about your thing.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you. The uh yeah, go either way, Nicole. But Nicole is saying she wants to share the surfing with somebody, which I understand.
Rethink that.
Really?
Rethink it. I don't think it's essential.
I don't think it is, but if it's essential to her, then it is essential.
So,
If she's looking at her life and thinking, I want to share this with somebody. I want to be in the water with somebody. Like, this makes me happy, right? I am not a lone wolf. I am not a wolf pack of one. I am Nicole who wants a wolf pack of two.
so let's presume Nicole has done all the hard thinking, has reassessed it, and has landed on I need him to be a surfer. And the question remains still, can I date a kook?
Yeah, but I will say you can date a kook uh, who starts as a kook. You cannot date a perpetual kook. And the perpetual kook is somebody who is a lack of self-awareness, who either thinks, I don't need to get better, right? It's the person who thinks, I'm fine the way I am, man. That's not, you don't want that in your life, full stop anyway. You want the person who's saying, I suck now. Give me a bit of time and I promise I will learn and improve.
So we want to clarify, Nicole, what is a kook exactly? So based on kind of where we've come to in this discussion, yes, you can date a beginner. Yes, you can
Mm,
date somebody who's learning how to surf and wants to improve,
you're exactly right.
but you can't date a quote kook.
Because a
So
kook is, you're exactly right. A kook is
so
a definition of somebody who's unappealing.
by Nicole's own kind of definition of I can control my board, I stay out of the way of other people. If you can find a guy who has that level of kind of just logic,
Awareness.
yeah, awareness and logic, where it's like maybe they're just learning how to surf, maybe they're still on a soft top, but they know not to be in the way. And their primary focus is to not hurt other people, damage, let go of their board and that kind of thing. That's a fine starting point. And in fact, that's actually kind of a good point for you to enter their life because you can now influence them. So I think all of that is fine. But yes, she identified two that are no-goes. The dude in the reef booties posting a photo of himself with terrible style, or the longboarder mowing over people trying to take every set wave wearing a leash. Yeah, those are no-goes because those are kooks.
No, absolutely. And unless you can teach them the error of their ways. If you can look at the reef booty butt barrel guy and say, hey, bro, this is bad. It's just bad. And he can self reflect and say, you're right. I'm going to stop posting surfing selfies. I'm not good. Or longboarder guys say, hey, if you want to ride that stupid thing, have at it, but not here. And he says, you're right. I am a menace to society. I'm going to go to San Onofre.
So I think to reaffirm kind of where her thoughts are coming from is she's so steeped in surfing is such a part of her core identity at this point that there isn't a version where she could take that longboard guy down the beach and surf their own peak and have respect for him. Because
Yes,
even
no.
if she's away from the watchful eyes of her peers, she knows as her core tenet, this guy is missing it in certain ways, and she could never fully respect him.
Any dude who settles on the longboard too and is like, nope, this longboard is my identity. Nicole, I love you, but I'm not going to shorten the board. I'm not going to go on anything else because this longboard is me. I am a longboarder. That's why I would never marry Devin Howard.
Well, that no, because Devin swapped out to the mid length at a
Oh yeah,
certain point.
Devin. I would marry Devin Howard any day of the week.
Even Devin realized the longboard isn't the end all be all.
Yep, Devin, I love you. I was just kidding.
So I think Nicole, hopefully, I understood I think that she's right in her kind of initial thing, but just a little bit of a reframing allows her a little bit wider aperture for her dating, pool.
And Nicole, from here on out, we're going to need quarterly updates on how this is going. We're going to need
Look,
to meet the dude at some point. At least, I mean, he doesn't have to call in or write or anything, but we're going to have to follow this journey because this was heartfelt, solid advice. And
I'm
I
invested
feel it's
in
going to work.
I'm invested in Nicole.
Yep,
We bit off more than we could chew when we tried to get Subaru Jen a
bit
date.
off, bit off more than we could what?
Chew.
Oh,
What did you think I said?
like I said, we bit off more than we could chew. It was like,
Maybe I misspoke. Um, well, with Subaru Jen a year or two ago, we tried to set up a whole dating thing for her,
yeah,
and it turned out just to be too many back and forth emails for me, vetting guys and like all this kind of stuff. I feel inclined to do the same here for Nicole, but I don't want to bite off that much. But I would like to funnel dudes towards her. So I don't know how we operate this, but if anybody's interested in Nicole, feel free to reach out. I'll forward your email to Nicole. Maybe that's the most I can do.
okay. And or if Nicole is willing to share, say, her Instagram account, we can
Yeah.
advertise that on next week's show and just say, any dude looking to slide into some DMs, here you go.
Yeah. Yeah. I would like to help her out. I like Nicole.
Yeah, me too.
All right, cool. Thanks. Hope that helped out. Thank you, Vayer, for supporting our work here.
Yeah, there.
Let's move on slightly to vulnerable adult learner email. We had one 2 weeks ago about the listener from Tennessee. And then there was a
Yes.
follow-up call. I think somebody called in. And then here's another email that came in that I cannot remember if I read on air or not. And then I sent it to Chaz and I was like, did I read this on air already? And Chaz couldn't remember.
I couldn't, I mean, it was similar conceptually to me as the Tennessee one. And I think that's where I was getting all mixed up.
I feel like now that I'm reading it over,
We did read it?
we did read this. Should I redo it anyways?
I think so.
Let's redo it anyways.
Yeah. if it was good enough to do once, it's good enough to do again.
Oh man, it's so weird.
Yeah,
Um,
I thought for sure. I was like, oh yeah, my David Lee's been in the trenches preparing the show and everything started to blur together and fresh eyes. I got this. And I read it and I was like, I literally have no idea.
Man, I do because the other thing is I read these yeah, in the trenches. I read these things multiple times and then I put them
Yeah.
in the notes and sometimes it doesn't make it. Oh my gosh. Okay. Weird. Okay. Hey guys, I was listening and overheard the email from the listener who loved surfing growing up, but what actually I feel like I read this now. It's coming back to me.
Okay. Are we gonna can
He goes on,
it?
it resonated with me to the point where I immediately wanted to add my own story. Let me start with this Instagram post I made 3 years ago on July 17th, which marked my 10-year anniversary of my first wave I ever stood up on.
I don't think we read it.
Okay. He's saying he sent me a photo of the first wave he ever stood up on. It happened to be also at Folly Beach in South
Yes.
Carolina, which is where the previous emailer, Mike from Tennessee,
That's why
just
it
did
got
his
confusing.
first
This one's
surf wave.
fresh. This one's a freshie.
Okay. Okay. He says, yes, that 3-inch wave was the first wave that I ever surfed at 38 years old. And you could not wipe the smile off my face. By the end of the trip, I swear I went back to Charlotte a new man. But the story did not start there. I, like the gentleman from Tennessee, while in my 20s, um, while I should have already been surfing, I did not, in fact, surf. I always loved the ocean. I grew up going to the beach, loved the idea of surfing, but I never did it. I had Trans World Surf Mag subscription, Surfer Magazine subscription. I could not get enough of Rob Machado and his fro, Donovan Frankenreiter even, and I had Kelly Slater Pro Surfer, the game on PlayStation. I watched the documentary video that came with it over and over. When I got married, my wife was scheduled to go to France for school, and I got to tag along. Amazing start to a marriage, 6 weeks in France. During that trip, I was trying to get across the country to the World Tour event in Hossegor. And then July 17th, 2015, and that photo above, which is, as I write you guys, I say this with zero hyperbole, surfing has changed my life. This past Wednesday, July 23rd, I will be going to Costa Rica, or this coming Wednesday, July 23rd, I'll be going to Costa Rica with my wife for the seventh time. I would have never made it to Costa Rica if not for surfing. Would not have even been on my radar, but now it's our special place. So many memories that have nothing to do with surfing, but are the result of surfing. We now live at the beach in North Carolina, an idea that was birthed from the seed of me getting addicted to surfing. It was also a much needed let's take a risk moment for our marriage in a time when we needed to make a change. I got a job that allows me the freedom to score when the rare East Coast swell arrives. Those are only two bullet points, but I could go on and on. Basically, my entire outlook on life has changed. There is just a love and appreciation that grows in you as surfing becomes a part of you. You see beauty unseen before. You learn to accept failures and understand the learning opportunities. Some days you fall and you get pounded, but you just get up and paddle out again. I could go on and on. Surfing has made me a better person, and my life has also benefited from it. Make no mistake, I am not a good surfer, but I do have fun and I have improved over the years. Surfing is freaking hard, but it's also the best thing on the planet. I am forever grateful for that 3-inch day 10 years ago in Folly Beach. I will be in decent surf in 3 days in a beautiful land with my wife that we both love, and we have surfing to thank for that. Peace and love, Paul.
All beautiful, poignant, well spoken, wonderful, and true.
And back to the point of how do you define a kook?
Paul's not a kook.
Paul's not a kook. He's newer to surfing, admittedly intermediate or less than, and just embracing all the good parts in it. So I'm all
Go for a
for it.
Paul. Go for a Paul, Nicole.
Look for Paul.
Too bad Paul's already married.
Also, surfing, it's so cliche. Like when you talk about these things, it just sounds cloyingly cliche, but it is all of the cliches.
It is. And also, as part of a life, there's nothing I would rather be or do except for be successful and etc. than to be a surfer, right? Like the fact that it is informed, there was times in my life where I thought this is dumb. I honestly centered, maybe not centered, but had very near the center this stupid thing called surfing. There was, a decade maybe where I felt that. And I was like, it was dumb. And I didn't change it. It was just, I just thought this is a dumb thing to do. This was a dumb path to go on. Now I think, nope, it's like really makes you see the world differently. And I'm
Totally
forever
does.
thankful for it.
I honestly, when you say forever thankful, that is not hyperbole either.
No,
I find myself in strange moments sitting on the couch and just processing the way that somebody else in a conversation I had earlier today interpreted some event in their day. I'm like, they're seeing that all wrong. And the only reason I'm seeing it the way that I'm seeing it is because of surfing.
yeah.
Again, to sound cliche, but it's like, thankfully from a young age, like, because I don't necessarily get up every morning now and go dawn patrol it, but I did for a period of time in my life. And that level of discipline and putting yourself through cold and all that kind of stuff, like there was never at that during those formative 20 years, it didn't feel like work to get up at 5 a.m. and go out in the dark and do the thing. It was the desire to do it was so strong that it overrode any resistance that your normal body would put up.
But also, though, I think for a little more than that, it's not like you wake up at 5 a.m. happy. Like there's been so many days where I woke up at 5 a.m. to do dawn patrol, usually not on my own volition, but because somebody had suggested it the night before. And I was like, yeah, cool. And then the alarm rings and you think, exactly like Brad Pitt says in Ocean's 11 when George Clooney asks him, "Are you suicidal?" And he says, "Only in the morning." When you just feel that, whoa. But you do the work and you get there, and maybe it's even a sucky session, right? But you're never worse off for it. And I mean, yeah, with the daughter's closing out her 5 week ballet program today, it is brutal. It is a brutal, brutal, brutal thing. It is not fun. It is not, but there's joy in it. And that's what surfing is, I think. Surfing's a way to do something difficult for average people where you force yourself to do something almost impossibly hard, right? Surfing. And you do it, and you are made a better person because of it, because you're not doing the easy thing, you're doing the hard thing.
Totally agree. I never understood that line from Ocean's 11 until you just said it right now.
Isn't it like that when the alarm goes off at 5 a.m. and you wake up and you think, it'd be easier to kill myself than to get out of bed.
I mean, I haven't seen the movie in 10 years, but for some reason I remembered that line. And
Yeah,
I remember at the time hearing it and just thinking these writers just wanted to say something that like was provocative, but it didn't make sense to me. Like, why would you be suicidal in the morning? And now that I've had enough rough mornings in my life at the age of 43, I know exactly what he's talking about.
1000%. When you wake up at 5 a.m. with that, and not to surf necessarily, but you wake up at 5 a.m. with that long day ahead of you, with that, and just feel that laying in bed for that 1 second, I'd rather be dead.
That is so funny. Okay,
Yeah.
now I get it.
Yeah.
Um, Continuing on with our how do you navigate the world of vulnerable adult learners? Good afternoon, DLS and Chaz. I'm embarking on my first solo surf trip and I am looking to buy a surfboard for the trip. Being a beginning ocean surfer, that's
Mm.
that's an odd statement. A
Except,
beginning,
except not anymore. Like
I
it's
know.
if somebody probably grew up around Waco, Texas,
Yeah.
or on the Great Lakes, and or yeah, a wave pool surfer, right?
Yeah.
It's
He
going to be
were
more and
he
more common.
Yeah, he signed off by saying I prefer to remain nameless. So I don't know who or where he comes from, but he says being a beginner or ocean surfer, my natural sense would be to get a foam beginner board like a catch surf. With
Oh,
all the recent content regarding surfing core score, I want to make sure I'm not lowering the core score of surfing with my purchase. But I don't think I'm ready for a fiberglass surfboard. My question is this: are there any surfer-owned core softboard brands? Recently, I came across Black Bear Surf Company, and they have a fiberglass board with a soft cover around the board. Do these fall into the same category as your typical foamies? I wonder if you could turn this into a show segment as well, taking topics that blur the line between core and kook and determining once and for all whether or not it's core. Thank you for the help, and I hope this sparks good conversation work.
Thank you so much. No, don't get a foamy. Like I will say the black bear foamies, the catch surf foamies, whichever ones are companies are served like the album foamy. Who else makes a foamy?
Everybody.
Yeah,
Gabriel
everybody
Medina,
makes
Mick Fanning, like Felipe.
yeah. Don't start there. We didn't start on foamies. Like I didn't touch a foam surfboard until way later in life because they really didn't exist, right?
No, I mean, there was a Doyle board when we were young. Like there
Yeah,
was
but you
a
didn't
version.
but a foam surfboard, even the best foam surfboard, is not even half as fun as the worst fiberglass surfboard, right? And
Yep.
so I feel that the foam revolution is great for people who already surf. And you want to go out on that small day that's super crowded, right? And so then you can grab the foamy or whatever. The foamy is not for, I don't, it's not, it became a let's learn to surfboard, but it shouldn't be. I fully disagree on the, I mean, I get a surf school where you have kooks who are never going to surf again, you know, like who are going to take a lesson at Waikiki and they want to stand up and get a picture taken and be done with it. Other than that, if you have surfing in your life's goal trajectory, don't start on a foamy. Get a fiberglass surfboard. Doesn't have to be a high performance shortboard. Uh,
So, so,
but
and this
get a
relates to
surfboard.
the conversation topic that we just came off of, which is it's hard, and the hardship fortifies you for the next step.
Yes.
And so, if you take a baby step, or if you pad literally this first step, you're undercutting your growth into the next step.
Yes.
So
You're retarding your progress.
you really are. There's almost no benefit to starting on a soft top.
Nope.
Go ahead and just, toughen yourself up. You will get hurt probably. You're going to get banged up by,
You won't get hurt. How many people you won't get hurt
look,
any more than you will with the soft top?
no, you'll get bruised and cut, let's say,
What?
from
How many
from
times when you were starting surfing? I mean, I guess we were younger boys, but how many times did you get whacked with your board? That was not like an issue. That wasn't the real concern.
I mean, I've gotten whacked by my board a million times.
I've been whacked by my board
I'm
a
not,
lot
I never
since,
got
but
really hurt.
yeah, but that wasn't like the thing that happened. Like, oh man, you start with a fiberglass surfboard, and guess what's going to happen? You're guaranteed stitches. You won't get any more banged up than you will on a heavy waterlogged piece of crap foamy.
Well, the other detail here is you will make better decisions if there is the consequence of a threat. So like learning how to you won't take as much risk basically when you're on the fiberglass. You'll be much more cautious and you'll make better decisions.
The only way I would suggest starting on a foamy is if you really don't care about surfing and don't really want to surf again. That you're going on a surf trip and you want to catch a wave and ride straight, like toward the beach, then have at a 9 foot wave storm or whatever, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But don't start your ocean surfing journey on a foamy. Full stop. There's no such thing, and there is literally no such thing as a high performance foamy. All of those things ride kind of like crap. Some ride
Me,
better than others, but none of them are even a tenth as fun as a fiberglass surfboard.
there's low performance versions and then there's lesser low. Let's
Yeah,
call it medium low.
but they
Um,
bog. They're like, you really have to be a competent surfer to get those things to actually work.
that's true. Yeah, if you're a beginner surfer, then there's almost no benefit to riding the medium low performance one
Yeah,
because you're not that good of a surfer anyways.
they're really
But
hard to like fit in the pocket and stuff. You got to really actually know what you're doing.
if you're going to be surfing barreling shore break, then they're probably, you know, get one of those and you can go do it with no threat or risk, but
But
you're
this
not that surfer.
you're definitely not surfing.
Yeah.
Whoever our non-ocean surfer is definitely not starting their surf journey
No,
in barreling shore break.
definitely not. So I will just for the record iterate. There's basically two classes of foam boards. There's the Wavestorm, which is solid foam and has crappy plastic fins on it. And then there's newer versions now, like the albums. I don't know what the Black Bear has, but like the albums have stringers in them. They're a different type of foam. They have stringers. They have a kind of lamb. Chaz is shaking his head no.
I mean, I'm just shaking my head no in terms of date because you're making it sound like they're built, I feel, for surfers who know how to surf and
Yes.
want a foamy in their quiver, which is not
Yes.
our dude.
No, but I'm just for the record
Yeah.
distinguishing that there's two classes of soft
Yes.
top, and the album style has fin plugs, so you can swap them out with different quality fins. They're not just the Wavestorm fins. So if you did need a foamy in your quiver, the other great thing is, like he said, are there surfer owned brands that also carry soft tops? Album is a
Yes.
great example of one of those. So
But again, and I don't know how old you are, dear friend, but when I had daughter first learning how to surf, I had her on an album soft top. It's like a 5.0 beautiful board. That thing was so hard for her to surf. It's weird. They're just weird. They're weird boards and nothing against the album board, but a foam board is weird. Once I got her on I think it was a 5.5 lost puddle jumper. Then it was like, oh, wait, I can actually do this. It's actually easier, I would argue, because of the buoyancy. The foam boards are way too buoyant. It's really hard to figure it out. It's easier to figure out a normal fiberglass board.
all right. And also, you're going on a solo surf trip, bring a real board, man.
Bring a real board and
If
do
this
the
question, if this question was like, I live at Doheny and I'm just learning how to surf, it'd be a different conversation. But if you're at the level where you're going on a solo surf trip, you got to bring a real board.
bring a real board. And even if a couple of those days, I mean, it's like rip those training wheels off the bike quick. Sure, you could ride around with your training wheels and like kind of be ride a bike maybe, or you can crash really hard for a couple days, but at the end you're actually really riding a bike.
And you have an investment in a board that you're going to keep for a long period of time and you could level up to,
Yeah,
like the foam board serves a tiny, tiny sliver of your learning curve. So, and it undercuts the rest of your learning curve.
I really feel we helped somebody out here, two people
Uh,
out here.
Good. I'm glad. All right. Well, considering that hard work, let's go to commercial break and we'll come back with Barrel or Not. All right, Chaz, welcome back to the show.
So good, man. I feel Trump was thinking he was gonna win the Nobel Prize. He was really had his heart set on it this year. He thought he was going to stop both the Gaza war and the Russia-Ukraine war, and then be like the odds-on favorite. How could you not give it to Donald J. Trump? Well, he failed. Today's show, I feel you and I might have put ourselves in a kind of pole position for the Nobel Prize.
I think, I'll accept it. I feel like we deserve it. We earned the honor and at least to be nominated. Maybe not to win, but at least to be nominated.
At
And
least go to Stockholm, Sweden, and be in the room. And like when the camera flashes to us, and the winner is, and we're politely clapping for the Pope.
I thought that my legacy would be the acknowledgement and kind of, letting people know that Kook and Currens exist. Kook and
Yeah,
Curran would be my legacy, but no,
yeah,
if it has to be the Nobel Prize, I'm fine with that too.
it's okay.
Yeah. Well, following up from last week, there was a conversation about bagels, toasting your bagel or not.
Yeah, what
Apparently,
did you get? What did
New
you get?
Yorker, yeah, apparently New Yorkers didn't. I was unaware. Um, it comes down to freshness. So in New York, if the bagels are fresh, don't toast.
Untoasted. Okay,
If they're not, so toasting alters the flavor, and if they're not fresh or they're lower quality, then you go ahead and toast to try to
great.
add more flavor.
Good to know. Good to know. I'll
Yeah,
tell you
one
what, though, stinking New York water. I've always thought that they put a little bit of sugar in the water or in the pizza dough here. I thought that was like their secret weapon. And I knew that the New York water made everything better. But last night at the Yemeni restaurant had a big old, Yemeni flatbread, whatever that style of bread. Uh, it tasted a lot like pizza crust here. And I realized somehow maybe New York water has a little bit of sugar in it.
might be
Yep.
bad for
Great.
the teeth,
Bad for teeth.
good for the taste.
Yep.
Um, we need a list of things that should only be eaten at their source. Like
Yeah.
we've talked about croissants in the past, where we live in Southern California, where you have access to almost everything, good quality versions of things, but for some reason go to France and you eat a croissant, you're like, this is unlike anything that I've ever had from the best French bakery in Southern California,
Yeah,
right?
it's not even like in the same tier. It's
It's
not even
not
like
even the same tier.
the same category.
It's not the same thing.
Yeah,
So if you're in, and I know people are going, yeah, I live in Southern California. I like a croissant in Southern California. Sure, it's fine, but it's not the same thing. And you really might as well just be eating any other pastry. Like,
sure.
go ahead and get a donut at that point, because that's good too, you know. But when you go to France and you have a croissant, this is far superior to any donut you've ever had.
Yes.
And so the same thing goes with bagels, where it is like, why are we even eating them at home? Just
Yeah.
if you're in New York, you get them and they're a whole different class of thing. As opposed to, we were talking about pizza, maybe it was on Noble Rot, where even bad pizza is good.
Yeah.
Great, great pizza is great. Bad pizza is still really good, you
I
know?
mean, yeah. The
But
pizza,
a bad or a croissant other than French croissant is kind of just like a throwaway item.
it's really, I mean, kid used to or still loves a croissant, and so back home go to Starbucks. It's really sacrilege when you go to Starbucks and you order the croissant and they go turn around, pull a croissant in a cellophane wrapper, open it up and pop it in the little warmer is
Yikes.
like it is straight up. They shouldn't call that thing a croissant. They should call
No.
it a crescent.
um, Along those lines, I had kimchi a couple of nights ago, like store bought from a like boutique, cool little producer of it. And then I ate it and I was like, it's disgusting.
Yeah,
Like, good quality kimchi is phenomenal. And then anything short of that, like, I'm
it's
tasting
gross.
it going that it's a facsimile of it. Like, it has similar flavors as good kimchi, but the combination of the similar flavors nets an entirely different sum. And the
Yeah,
sum is disgusting.
yeah.
So it's like,
Don't might as well not even try.
don't even buy the store-bought kimchi, full
Yep,
stop. There's no point. Like, even though it tastes similar, it's not 99% the same. Somehow the slight difference makes it
100%
garbage.
gross. Yeah,
100% gross, right?
yeah, yep,
It's weird. We need a
yeah.
list, a ranking. Um, Last week's core score. We started at 60. We ended the show at 58. So we went down a couple of points. This week in news, the things that we're going to have to add or subtract to 58. The US Open is running in tiny surf. We're watching a bald Julian Wilson losing round one, groveling at the US Open. Aaron Brooks signs a deal with Nike. Joe Turpel wins an Emmy. Kelly Slater signs with WME. You and I giving soft top advice on the podcast.
It's down, 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 David Lee Scales. Core score dropping like a stone this week.
I feel like it is as well. So we let's start with, does the US Open affect it runs every year, does that affect our core score this week at all?
No, because Huntington Beach is objectively crap. This year, for sure, is the worst I have ever seen it. Have you ever seen it this bad?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it this bad. Contested.
Yeah.
When did you
I
see it this
have
bad? I mean,
over and over throughout
it
the
is honest
years.
to goodness below knee high that gets wind wrecked
Yeah,
mid-afternoon. It is, I mean, it's uncontestable.
I know. Yeah, it's bad.
It is as bad as I've ever seen it, but I don't think that affects the core score because I think the US Open is just a thing.
Yeah, it
No,
is.
the fact that it's on, the fact that it happens, like credit to Huntington Beach for, branding itself as Surf City and forcing this thing to happen every year. And they get people to come, and it's not for or about surfing. Let's just be,
No.
it's a festival where surfing happens. Uh, and that is a thing that happens every year, and that is neither up or down core score. It's not up core score. If the surf was fully pumping, if there was like ripping barrels off the pier, it wouldn't put the core score up.
Yeah, I agree with you. But my final thought on that US Open is Julian Wilson, such a hero. Like, watching him compete at Burley Heads this year, all of that was thrilling. They're like, oh man, he can get on the Challenger Series. Maybe he can come back in 2026. And then watching him lose in round one and seeing him bald as well for some reason irked me, or just was like a little stab in the side for me because I'm such a big Julian fan. And I'm like, man, do not un this is like undignified. You know what
The
I
the
mean?
the problem with it is not the US Open. It's the fact
No,
that the Surf League has it as a Challenger Series event. If this was like a, because Julian wouldn't be surfing it if it was a 1 star,
no,
QS event. That's where it
no.
belongs. That's what it should be. The fact that the World Surf League elevates it to Challenger Series is they just shouldn't. It doesn't belong. It's
Okay,
awful.
well, moving on. 58 core score. Aaron Brooks, one of our a big hopeful American, I guess Canadian hopefuls, uh, up and coming female surfer signs with Nike.
I'm gonna go core score up 1.
Why?
I think Nike re-engaging is a good look for surfing and not as they did before, not as Nike 6.0, which was silly, not as okay, we're going to buy Hurley then and do this super team. No, but just Nike. Surfers wear shoes. Why not? Right? It shows. And I think that their team is weird. I will give them that. But the fact that it's the only part that's weird is Idolo. The rest of it, investing in the up and coming women, good look.
Good look for Nike, but not necessarily for core score, like surfing's core.
Again, though, what is
Corporate, and then you have corporation over here coming in to ultimately profit off of it.
I hear you, and I would rate it down if there was a better core surf shoe. Well, Vans, VF Corp. Like, there's nothing, right? There's nothing out there. Nike is better than as good or better than anything in terms of whatever. The industry is gutted. There's no core anymore. I mean, if she and let's say, I'll say this. So even if Aaron Brooks is a core score 1 down for Nike, I'd say 1 up just because why not? But I'll say Mateus Hurdy signing with Rivia is a core score up.
Then let's call it balanced out. I'm going one
Okay.
down for Aaron. We can go one up for
1 up for
Mateus.
Mateus. Okay, good. So let's just call it 0.
Okay, let's call it. We're still at 58. Um, Now, my concern with Mateus there is he's taken the deal because there's been no other deals on the table for the last 8 months. But
Yes.
it's like, is Rivia Projects really going to pay him any meaningful salary and advance his career at all?
No, but at least it is a core company reinvesting, even if it's pennies.
Yes.
It's trying, right? Just same as who does Former have on the team?
Oh, recently that James Cusatino
Yeah,
from,
exactly. It's these brands though trying, right? It's the core brand trying. They don't have to. They know they don't have to. They know they could literally throw t-shirts at people at this point. That's the state of the industry. But them trying, I think, is to build a new core is
okay,
core score up.
I agree. I'm on with the former sponsorship and also with the Rivia sponsorship because once you actually add too much money, it really then I think is creates an ultimate detriment for that surfer. Like doing it for the core and just for the love is the initial conceit. And then once you start layering on money, it becomes a little bit convoluted. If it's just enough money to get around the world and to do your thing, that's fine. But if it
Great.
becomes a certain amount of money to where you're then living the Italo life, it really becomes convoluted. And
Man,
so
do
I
you think
like,
that do you think that Jordy Smith and or I guess Julian Wilson for that matter look back on the run of through surfing they had where surfing was lush and think we got really, really, really lucky. Like there was a
yes,
10 to 15 year period where surfers could become multi millionaires. We just happened to be good enough and just happened to live in that era. If we were any, I mean, there's a lot of people making millions back then, but imagine you're Jordy Smith today, surfing exactly like prime Jordy Smith say. Jordy Smith would make 1/10 of the money he made today as he did when he made it.
it's totally true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we're flat at 58. Joe Turpel wins an Emmy.
Joe Turpel wins an Emmy. The problem here, and I don't mean to speak ill of Joe Turpel. Let's be honest and frank once more. I think we're only ever frank on this program, but Joe Turpel, I'm sure, is a beautiful guy, has a young child. I'm sure he's a great dad, all of it. So I saw this story, right? You saw this story. Yeah. He posted it
Yeah.
on his Instagram. Core score down there. Like praising yourself on your Instagram, core score down to begin with. Now, I saw Joe Turpel wins an Emmy and I was like, whoa, did you do any deep dive on this? I tried to write the deep dive, but I maybe was too obscure in what I was writing.
I didn't know there was a deep dive. He just won an Emmy for sports broadcasting, right? Or
No,
for the
no,
Olympics.
no, he did not. Uh, this is the trouble. So I looked and I said, did Joe Turpel, because I looked at the fine print on his thing and it was Joe Turpel, play by play, Olympiad, right?
Yeah.
So no, I can't remember who it was. The actual dude who won the play by play was a baseball announcer. The Olympics, NBC's Olympic team won an Emmy for the call. So I think there was 150 plus commenters who won an Emmy, air quote. Joe Turbell actually bought his. So you buy them, right? So the
So
NBC
you,
broadcasting team across all sport, all from the main booth in wherever it was in Paris to the equestrian dudes, any one of them, all of them won, air quotes, because the NBC team won. So Joe won as part of the NBC team, but Joe Turpel himself did not win for calling surfing.
but if you wanted the physical statue
Then you
itself, you
buy it.
had to pay to
Yeah, you
get
buy
to
it.
receive it. And
Yes.
he did pay to receive it.
Yes.
I guess I would too,
Of
maybe.
course.
Yeah.
So if let's say you were part of if I don't even know what the equivalent would be because we're not part of a 150 person strong organization, but if we were and something we had a very small part of, I I wouldn't have,
Okay.
to be honest. Like I would think it's great and I will claim it. I will say I'm an Emmy winner. Ha ha.
Yeah.
Like I say I'm a surf journalist. Ha ha.
Yeah.
But uh to buy the Emmy, to show it off and to say I won an Emmy is really, really, really sorry, Joe. I'm sure you're great at I'm the best guy, but that's not cool.
Well, does that affect surfing's core score? He is an
Yes.
arbiter of surfing and he's receiving a mainstream back pat.
Uh the fact that he took it and presented it as real is core score down 3.
Well, the mainstream back pat was
But it wasn't.
advertised as a mainstream, but it was just him patting himself on the
Yes,
back.
it wasn't a mainstream back pat. It was Joe patting himself on the back, which is core score down 3.
-3 brings us to 55.
The fact
Okay.
that like literally I wrote it. I wrote that and I know people don't read it, but it's really, really unfortunately kooky. It's such a kooky thing to do to present it as you won when no NBC won. You're
Yeah.
part of the 150 person strong team. Good job. Like you did
Yeah.
your part, but did you? Like maybe everybody
Well,
thought the equestrian guys were crushing it, the tennis guys were crushing it, surfing guys fully shit the bed, but it didn't matter because
well,
NBC won. Good job.
the argument I think is very valid, could be made that if Joe wasn't there and somebody was in his place, the award still would have been awarded.
I mean, are you kidding me? The
So,
argument is 100% made. Anybody could have been there, and NBC got the award, not
yeah,
the
got it.
surfing component.
Kelly Slater signs with the biggest talent agency in the world, the most important, WME.
Core score down 2.
I know it's kind of like good for Kelly. This is going to be great for his
No,
career, but not
nope,
good for surfing score.
nope, not even good for Kelly. It's so funny. I wrote about this as well. Uh, Wife, agent in the room. Uh, and I read the story and I was like, said it out loud. I said, hey, uh, Kelly just signed with WME, William Morris Endeavor, for those who don't know, which is a Hollywood talent agency. And I didn't know what reaction I was expecting, but she literally paused for a minute and said, for what? Uh, I wrote, she said, why in the story I wrote, but for what? Uh, as in, what the hell is he going to do with this? Like, this is a talent agency. Is Kelly planning on going on to act? Is he planning to start producing film or create television series? Or there's no reason for this. There's absolutely no reason for him to have a talent agent. He's at the way downside of his career. And so I wrote the story, and then another very famous surf agent who will remain nameless, or agent who has high level surf talent, who I won't out, texted in just laughing and said, I had the exact same reaction as Cersei. Like, I get it. You sign Kelly when he's on the upside of his career. When he's sliding into oblivion. What are you signing Kelly Slater for?
No, I think you guys are misunderstanding it entirely.
What are they signing? What's Kelly going to do?
Well, your misunderstanding is that WME is just a talent agency. They're
I know, but
not.
you need to sign talent. That talent needs to make money. They need to make money by doing projects. What project is Kelly going to do?
So WME owns a global marketing agency, a licensing firm, a media company, and they're not just signing actors or musicians
Obviously, but
anymore.
what are you
Like,
saying Kelly's going to do?
so they recently signed Meghan Markle
Sure,
to
Meghan Markle
her
selling
for
shows to
her.
Netflix. Is Kelly going to sell a show to Netflix?
It's not just shows. It's she has a whole brand
Lifestyle
identity
brand.
and they do brand partnerships and media projects for her. So I think
What's Kelly going to do?
Kelly's always tried to dip his fingers into the different brands and projects and ventures. And none of them have had a lot of success because I think they've all just kind of been siloed in their own little thing. So Kelly's quote brand has always underperformed. And so I think this allows him to plug into something that is much more vertical, where it's like he can, whether it's the clothing brand or a drinks brand or something like that, you step into this vertical thing where they are generating the media for it. They have a marketing wing that then markets the media for it. They disseminate all of it, and then they call up the Tonight shows or whoever or podcasts, important podcasts, to then get you on there to advertise it. That's what they
Sure.
will do for him. So I think Kelly as a brand has always underperformed, but he is almost the perfect person that you could exploit for growth for all these different brands. He needed the right people to do it for him. And now he not only has the right people, but he has an entire agency with a bunch of different companies that can do it.
This is a TBD. We're gonna have to keep on coming back to this one and seeing who's right and who's wrong on this. Because I think this is a flashy sign by somebody who thought, oh, we can get Kelly Slater. They're gonna do nothing for him. He's gonna do nothing for them. We will not see anything new or interesting coming out of this relationship. Full stop.
I think if it were, yeah, let's get Kelly on some reality show and then get him a movie deal or something like that. That's not the
Definitely not
plan.
that.
And that, yeah,
It's
and
not
that
gonna
just
be
wouldn't
music.
work.
He'll probably do another shitty book that somebody else, ghost writes, something like that. But it's going to be peanuts. This is not going to be a thing.
Let,
Kelly's
let,
already saturated.
let's do a 1 year check-in.
Okay, great.
And we'll do
Put
it
in
on
the
your
notes.
birthday.
Perfect.
The way that we'll remember this is when your birthday rolls around, we need to do
Kelly Slater's
The Kelly
WME signing.
brand check-in.
Yep.
So that's down two. We're down to 53. And then you and I giving soft top advice on this show.
I'm going to say we gave good soft top advice of don't get one. So I'm going to say up two.
There was, I think, up one.
Yeah, up one.
Okay,
That's fair.
up one. Yeah, because if we could have taken that differently and
We could have said,
advised.
yeah, there's a modern soft top out there that works.
I almost did with the album.
Nope.
Okay, up one to 54. We're closing out this week 54
Good.
for the record. Okay, barrel or nah, tap dancing. CHAS, ballet adjacent. Where does tap dancing rank in the world of performance art? Is it rollerblading to ballet's figure skating? Is it high performance longboarding? Is it the high performance longboarding of the dance world? I can see that there is some skill there, kind of, but also, what's the point? Even the best just look like and sound pretty silly. So, barrel or not, tap dancing.
Barrel, and all because of Gene Stinking Kelly. Gene Kelly was such a dance icon where you have the most famous choreographers study Gene Kelly, the way he moved, what he did, and have drawn for years inspiration off it. So modern iteration of tap dancing, I don't much know, but tap dancing as an art form is barrel.
It's weird that he's making noise with his feet. Like, even if his body and all the stuff you say is true, it's weird that noise is coming off of his shoes.
Go watch anyone. I defy all of you. I encourage all of you, I should say, to go watch a classic Gene Kelly clip. Or shoot, I just watched one at the Met. It was like one of the first, it was like, I can't remember who it was. Two black tap dancers. That is just a phenomenal, like it is when done well, and especially I think archivally. I don't know what the modern iteration, I don't know if there's phenomenal new tap dancers, but like the history of tap dancing, full on barrel.
So that's a thing. Whereas ballet has modern ways to display it that honor the legacy and pay homage, I'm not sure that tap dancing ever really has invested in those.
I don't know that it has, but I don't know that it hasn't, right?
Yeah.
I haven't studied enough, but what I do know is the core of tap dancing has such legends in there and has spawned such, I mean, again, legendary choreographers looking at it and drawing inspiration from the way these people moved.
It feels though almost like a Kook and Curran situation where, yeah, the legends are amazing, but anything short of that looks very silly.
What do you feel though about like Irish dancing and whatnot?
It's pretty silly looking. And nobody needs to study that choreography because it looks just on the superficial face alone, it looks ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, I'm going tap dancing steel barrel.
Um, I will surprisingly agree with you on the barrel because we used to go to the Hollywood Bowl for like probably a decade. Just they do the bowl season in the summer, and it'd be like, random people playing, but like we had Sundays available. So Sundays tickets are like $10 or something like that. And it was just a great way to spend the Sunday. So it didn't matter who was playing. We would just go on Sundays.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it would be something that you already knew and you were aware of. And then sometimes it would be like an orchestra playing the soundtrack to Star Wars, and you're like, whatever. And one time it was this guy, Savion Glover, who is a tap dancer. He's like the most famous modern tap dancer. I think Happy Feet, the film, they like
Yeah.
hired him and he
He's done
did like,
him.
yeah. And so I'm like, I never heard of this guy. I don't pay attention to tap dancing. We were captivated the whole show.
Yes.
He was
That's what I'm saying.
incredible.
That's what I'm saying. Tap dancing has some both incredible history, and when you see it done well, you can't help but stare like in
Yeah.
awe.
Yeah. It's pretty impressive.
Yep.
There was also a film when we were kids with Gregory Hines called Taps.
Oh yeah,
And
but that wasn't about tap dancing.
oh, it wasn't?
No, Taps was a military film, I think, wasn't it?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I thought it was about tap dancing.
I think Taps was like the related
Oh,
to the actual Taps
okay, gotcha.
recall.
Okay, barrel or not number two. Uh, hey fellas, we had a pros in the wild experience last week in J Bay. We were walking home after dinner and passed a female CT top five surfer holding hands romantically with her longtime coach. We immediately both thought to ourselves, how does this fit in with the Griffin formula of half plus seven? Barrel or nah, tramp stamps, tattoo located on the lower back, usually on females or on a male, keep work, stav. So these things, I'm not sure if these were two separate stories or if this female surfer had a
Had a
tramp
tramp
stamp
stamp.
and
Man,
that's,
he's really IDing who this potential surfer is.
I wrote back and asked him, who is it? Because I looked at the top five and I'm not
Nobody
sure
has a
who it,
tramp stamp.
I don't think they do. But
I love the non sequitur, the lead in with a straight up non sequitur spin.
well, also after he said, how does this fit with the Griffin formula of half plus seven? He put an ellipses, dot, 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 barrel or not, tramp stamps. So it would lead
It's
you
two
to
separate
believe,
thoughts.
no, it would lead, the
I know you
ellipses
would
would lead
think
you to
that,
think,
but
yeah.
this is two separate thoughts.
Okay. Anyways,
Bummer.
barrel or not, tramp stamps.
You know, I'm gonna say as a tattooed man, there are places on the body where tattoos come in and out where I can see, okay, fine, right? Like inner wrist for a woman was like big and then it got too big, but now I think, oh, whatever, we're go up and down. I've never once thought the lower back is a good place for a tattoo unless you are fully tatted, unless your entire back and the rest of you is tattooed. So I'm
It's
going no
really,
barrel.
I know. I mean, look, even when it was in fashion, I
It was
feel like it
never
was
good.
still no barrel at then
No,
that
no. Well, that's
like
the thing.
that little 2 year window of time where in a certain portion of Arizona or Nevada it was popular, still bad fashion back then.
Nope, it is a no barrel. And it's also I'm not a big fan of the solo meaningful tattoo, which the tramp stamp is essentially that.
Yeah. Okay. No barrel.
No
Sorry.
barrel. Yeah.
Sorry, everybody out there.
Yeah.
That is one tough decision to live with.
But also what's a superseding no barrel is getting a tattoo removed. So if you're out there and do have a tramp stamp,
Live
rock
with
that
it.
thing. That you made that decision, own it.
You're gonna have to wear one piece for the rest of your life, unfortunately. Uh, barrel or not number three. Wheelies. Obviously a nah on its face, but your new best friend, Cam Richards, exited Surf 100's last episode wheeling off of screen. And the comments section revealed that he's been known to ride them in the past. So it seems insane to me that a grown man. Oh, so while it seems insane to me that a grown man would have wheels embedded in his shoes, maybe this is a Kook and Curran scenario. Please advise.
Oh, heelies he's talking about, not wheelies.
You're right. Heelys.
Heelies. Because I was thinking
I
wheelies, like on a bike. He's out there
I
doing a wheelie. That's cool.
I didn't even catch that. You're right. They're called Heelys. But I did watch that episode of Surf 100, and sure enough, Cam Richards loses and then skates off screen, like leans on his heel and skates off screen.
So they must
And
they
I've
must have been
seen
doing it
people,
ironically, right? For the
I
Cam
don't
Richards
know.
clip, it must have been ironic. There's no way Cam Richards wears heelies around.
I've seen adults in airports with Heelys.
Uh, it's no barrel. I'm sorry, it is like fully juvenile. And like there's a very funny Instagram clip of a dude who's like at skate parks on his heelies, and he does like moves on his heelies, but he's doing it ironically. He's not doing it for real.
His whole account is dedicated to that.
Yes, very funny, that
Yeah.
account.
Yeah.
But no, there's no heelies even for a kid is no barrel, because what you're doing for a kid, even that kid should be on a skateboard, right? You're replacing something. Like, if you're going to practice, because you got to, you don't just heely, you got to kind of get good at it. You kind of know what you're doing. If you're going to practice anything that's absurd and that has zero, same with riding a razor scooter, I think, right? Like, if you're going to spend time to get good at something, do not have it be something that has zero, there's nowhere to go in it. At least a skateboard, learn to skateboard, you get good at skateboard, you can ride a whole skateboard your entire life, right? I saw cruising down Broadway just yesterday, probably a 65-year-old dude on a skate, not a longboard, just a regular skateboard. He had such good style. He wasn't like doing tricks. He was just like cruising, but and not obnoxiously. He was just using it as transportation. I was like, yeah, skateboarding is something that if done right, you can grow forever. Heelys, scooters, there's so many categories of wheeled things that you just cannot go.
The other thing is, what do you go 2% quicker than if you were
Yes.
just to walk?
Yep.
Like it doesn't really affect anything at all. And I'm going to go no barrel simply because you will fall. That's the end of my story. We have a lot of stories here of adults falling, and as we get older, how much more damage it does and how much harder it is to recover from. Putting wheels on the bottom of your shoes are going to ultimately lead to an accident and an injury.
The posture you have to maintain for heelys, like when you're up on your heel, it's so goofy looking. I would change this and barrel it if what heelys actually were was two skates popped out of your shoes on the bottom, and then there was a jetpack at the back of your shoes that went like, and
Inspector
then you could
Gadget
like,
did it.
then you could like jet around on your shoes. Then
Yeah.
I'd be like, that's cool. Going only on your heel with your toes pointed up, one leg kind of cocked back. It's just, I've never seen, it's embarrassing, even the best of times.
Inspector Gadget had those shoes that you're talking about.
That is a barrel.
Yeah. All right. Well, Heelys, no barrel. I didn't even know they made these in adult sizes, by
I
the way.
didn't either. I didn't either.
Also, whoever invented that, I would have laughed out of the room. If they would have said, I'm looking for investment, this is going to be a big thing, I'd be like, dude, nobody would wear those, not even children. I'm shocked that they made it as far as they have.
Look at us.
I know.
Not
All right.
rich.
Exactly. All right. Well, great show. We went a little overtime today to make up for last week's going under time, but a lot of good work done.
A lot of people saved. Nobel Prize possibly on the way. Check your junk mail, David Lee Scales. Sometimes the Nobel Peace Prize Committee gets trapped in the filter.
Okay. I'll be looking for it. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, listeners. Catch you Monday over on Noble Rot. Until then.
Keep work.